Alright, so we are halfway through the painting process. Last night I decided that I just didn't like this rust inside of this tank. So the first step, I've already kind of been doing it, is rattling some nuts around in there. And so I think I got it pretty well broke free. And so what I'm going to do, I put a little bottle on because I just want to see how much will come out of there. So it should be all over in this corner, so now I can stick this down there and suck all that crud out. So let's just see what we get. That's kind of loud. Alright, so let's see how we did. Still some stuff I can't quite get to right in the middle. Let me knock it around just a little bit. Alright, let's see what we got. Oh yeah, so it's a lot cleaner down in there now. Let's just make sure we don't have anything left in it. Alright, so we got all the inside cleaned out. A lot of that got sucked down the vacuum, but I was able to recover all of my nuts. So there we go. So that worked out pretty good. Pulled all the cruddies out, and we can use that for something else. Alright, so now we got it all pretty much cleaned out, and we want to look at trying to seal it. So the biggest worry I have is when I put the sealer in, it's going to want to go down in these corners and it's going to puddle and do all of that. So I'm thinking I'll go ahead and do the process like they say, put the acetone in, clean it all up, put that stuff in, roll it all around by hand to try to coat everything and then drain it out. But I want to kind of keep it from sitting, and so I'm going to make me a gas tank rotisserie. Alright, so down here on the floor, we're going to see if we can make us a gas tank rotisserie. So what I got is I'm going to put a 2x4 in here to hold the tank, and then just a piece of PVC, screw those two together. So there we go. Now we got our tank rotisserie done. Now we can start working on how to seal this up. So this one's pretty easy. I just got me some washers, and I'm going to use a butterfly. So just got a washer, and I'm going to stick a seal onto that. We'll put that on there, but we'll get that ready to go. Yeah, we got that one done. Alright, so for these holes, what I'm going to have to do is make a plate or something, because I sure don't want to put that in there because it's going to seal it up. And so I need to make some little fake plates like these little guys right here. So what I'm going to do is remove the filter, and that way I can set it down on a piece of old cutting board, or just whatever you can find. So then we're just going to make us a little template. And there we go. So we will get these little things cut out, and then in the middle I'm going to tap a hole for a fitting, because I'm going to try to minimize this mess as much as possible, and then I can put a fitting in there, put a little piece of hose, and so then I can pinch it off, and when I get ready to drain it, just break it loose, and hopefully it's going to drain out pretty clean. So let's go over and get this cut out, and the holes drilled, and then we'll be ready to seal it up for some acetone. All right, so we got our little stoppers made out of the cutting board, and I got me some flat gasket material, so I'm gonna put gasket material in between the two. All right, and we just need to install it. There we go. Now we just need to put our little hoses on. And then we just made some little stoppers. And I can push in there. And we got her sealed up. So now it's time for some acetone into our tank. And we're gonna jostle that around for a little while. Put our lid lock on. There we go. And let's not forget that little screw right there. What we want to do is whoosh it around like they say to do. So now we can take these loose. And take something and poke through our seal in there. There we go. So now we can drain the acetone out of it and get ready to seal the tank. All right, so we got our acetone done. Actually did it twice because the first that came out was nasty. So that's why we made the rotisserie. What we're going to do is prevent it from puddling, since it's not really wanting to come out. So I did manage to get some of it to come out of the tube there. So at least I know that it's coated all the way around. The problem is that it's puddling right here. So if you can see from the blop on the floor that fell out when I took the pipe off, it's already starting to get like jelly. So it is hardening up. See, it's slick there, but where it's exposed to the air is starting to get like a jelly coat on it. Alright, so 10 minutes or so has gone by, and so I'm playing with it, but I can tell it's still liquid inside of there and quite a bit, because if I rotate this way, let's say I rotate over here, and so all the liquid's going to pour down to here, and then when I go upside down it's going to follow. And then when I come over to here, it's all going to be trapped on this side. So then when I stop, it doesn't want to stay level. It's got all that weight over here. So then I can rotate back. If I rotate back, do the same thing, I'm going to let it pour over onto this side. Ever so slowly. And with it all captured over there, see, it stays up level. So there's still some liquid in there that's moving around. What I want to do is flip it so that all of it is over here. And so I'm going to start on this side. And I'm going to slowly bring it around. There. So now it all should be in the lowest part, which will be about right there. See, it's still liquidy. Alright, so now we'll use our little container, and I'm going to try to keep it uphill so when I try to suck that out of there, it's going to collect in this container. There we go. So as you can see, there was a crap load of that stuff still down in there. I put half of that in there, and not even half of what I put in there went in there. So hopefully we didn't suck too much of that crap up inside of my nozzle. We shall see. So yeah, so you end up with a ton of it right there. So I will put that back in my can. Alright, so as you can see in the can, I used about that much to do this gas tank. After sucking it all back out, I put about that much in there and it sucked about half of it back out. So it's probably good to put more in there than you need. That way you can get it to disperse, but you got to have some way of getting it back out of there. So now let's look in there and see what's going on. I can see that it is nice and coated red. It is true, but there's still some sitting in that corner right there. Now we can see it doesn't want to stay level anymore. So it's a little bit better. There still feels like there's some in there. So I'm going to tip it upside down like this and let it all kind of run down. And we'll suck a little more out one more time. Alright, so that time we got a little more out, but I think we're really good. So it doesn't look like there's a bunch in there now. Just a little bitty bit. So I think we're good for puddles. Yeah, so we're good now. So there we go. We achieved putting this sealer crap in here on this crazy Virago tank. That's got such strange shapes that I figured it was going to be a nightmare. Turned out it wasn't too bad. You just have to put it in there and then suck it back out. Alright, so after all said and done, you can see inside of there, I put a line on it. We use that much to do this tank and not have it all puddled up in there. And I put about that much in there. So, it doesn't take a whole lot, and you got to figure out a way to get it back out. I think that's where it comes into being a big old mess for folks. So, alright, so let's get it off with the rotisserie one more time. And we're going to take all that's collected up over here, and I'm just going to move it around a little bit, and I'm going to call this thing done. So all I'm going to do is just to make sure it doesn't puddle in those back corners, I'm just going to tip it up. Now that I got it open, you can actually see fumes coming out of it if you hold it up to the light. And so I know it's starting to cure now. So all I'm going to do is just move it to the top of the tank. That way if it does puddle, it's going to puddle where the gas normally isn't. And then maybe it'll have time to go ahead and set on out. Alrighty, well, I believe that's got it. So all we need to be successful in getting it out is a homemade little catcher that we can suck it back up out of it once we put it all in there and swish it around. And then that'll get rid of any puddles we might have. And now we can take all this off, let it sit, and I'll move it around just a little bit more just in case. And then we can go back to our painting process. Well, alrighty. Well, thanks for watching.